What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mongols. This is our reaction show where we're going to break down everything that we saw as the Hounds got a 2-0 win over Rhode Island. I am Mike Sparks. Joining me is Steve Mattias and Drew, a.k.a. the Mondolorian. Guys, I haven't been around for a while, it feels like. Maybe it was just 1 week. I don't know. I was gone. How's it going, Steve? What's good?
Things are fine. Loving this cooler weather, getting outside a little bit more, doing some yard work and whatnot this weekend. But one of the highlights of the week was Rory actually playing with one of his dog friends, because with the humidity, he just doesn't want to play. And so seeing him be out there excited to play really, really made my week. And then I was just kind of thinking through like Mongol stuff and realized like, I think I actually have the sweetest gig of all of the people on Mongols, because Mike, when you're not here, I get to take your job, but I don't get your responsibility. And in a little while, we're going to see Josh isn't here. I get to take his job. So I just kind of like take the jobs from everybody that are fun when they're not here. And I like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've got nothing to say to that. Drew, what's new with you, man?
Not much, actually. I am also enjoying the cooler weather.
Yeah.
I have some suit upgrades in progress.
Ooh.
Some very, very needed suit upgrades in progress.
I get texts with pictures of them as they're on the printer, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm increasing the strength and changing the material that the armor is made out of, which is going to make things just look better from season to season. Will mean there's less upkeep from season to season and significantly less warping.
So I got a question for you. What would be the if we were to like take like the theme of Star Wars stuff, like Beskar is what would be the pinnacle of Mandalorian soup, but in Pittsburgh soccer culture, what would be like the plastic version of that? Would it be like, I don't know, like yeah, like you get to title it. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, what is the material
what
that you're building your suit out of?
Well, it would be something like pit steel or something like that. It would have to be called something like pit steel or something like that, you know? Yeah. Like,
oh, should we could this become a thing? Like, should we start making awards and like ingots of pit steel that like you give out to people as like we were talking about like
the award. Instead of a balloon door, we give out a pit steel.
Right. So like we were saying that, you know, if we're giving away Player of the Year awards or something, could we be giving away pit steel? And
yeah, I mean, I have like a Beskar ingot over here.
This show turns around and
this show took like, an immediate turn. Yeah, an immediate
so
turn.
Like I have this little Beskar ingot over here, and we could definitely do like instead of the Empire logo, do like a little Mongols logo.
There you go.
And it's
all right.
Okay.
Print me some pit steel.
Yeah, I want. We're gonna start trading it like it's money. Like how much pit steel you got? Yeah.
when we give it out the season.
Like, the players have a black market pit steel.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
How many Shroot bucks equals one pit steel? We can spend all day talking about this. We're not going to, guys. The Hounds got a 2-0 win over Rhode Island. Steve, are you ready?
I think so.
Oh, in sync.
Yeah, wait. There we go. We got 2 goals, so we got 2 victory beverages. I have my Yeti, so I can like. There, I just like flick open
almost
the top.
Satisfying.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Guys, I want to talk all about this game. But first, we're actually going to switch things up just a little bit, and we are going to start with Mondo's moment.
It's time for Mondo's moment, the top moment of the game from the Mondolorian.
This week's match against Rhode Island FC provides us with a pair of Mondo moments. The first comes in the 51st minute, as Augie Williams tallied his 80th career USL Championship goal, making him the 4th leading all-time goal scorer. The second comes 6 minutes later, as Bertrand Jacquesson scores what's technically his first league goal of the season, giving us the 2-0 victory over Rhode Island. It's incredible what happens when these two start together, like they feed off each other. Brilliant play. This is the way.
This has been Mondo's moment. Go Hounds.
So we led with this because, Drew, you clearly have thoughts about Augie and Berton playing together. So what did you think about this game?
I mean, in this game is in direct contrast with Tuesday's game. So this is the third of 3 in 2 weeks, right?
Mhm.
And somehow, when we have 2 strikers on the field, regardless of whatever crap we have behind them, and I'll get to that whole mess in a minute, it seems to be when we have our 2 strikers on the field together, they, I don't know, are somehow able to play off each other, synergize, pull defenders off each other, so we don't end up in situations where our lone striker is 4v1 on the defense every single time he gets the ball. And look, goals. We're not bombing down the sidelines and crossing and hoping for the best. We're getting like really amazing play through the middle. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's something I've been begging for all season.
Yeah, Steve, we've been talking about this a ton about, I think the thought was when Augie came in, okay, great. Berton then got injured early in the preseason, so we haven't been able to see them together. He's seemingly healthy, and this is really kind of the first game that we've seen both of them kind of utilized to their full strength.
Mm-hmm.
How much of this is, do you think, just like, well, Berton's finally healthy, versus do you think that there was some other change that was made that helped them be more effective? Or is this just Rhode Island is not very good this year?
No, I don't think it's that Rhode Island is not very good. I think Rhode Island actually played the Hounds pretty level. That this game could have easily been 2-0 the other way. And so I don't think it's that. I want to take joy in this game, and I do. But I'm left kind of with a concern because of my answer to your question, which is I don't know what we see next week or the week after that, because I think what was different was Charles All, that we had 2 forwards and we had a real attacking midfielder sitting in behind them. And so what concerns me about that is we've also then got Robbie Mertz on the bench. And so I just don't see a world where we're going forward and we're looking at, are we sacrificing Robbie Mertz for Charles All and Burton Jockeson? But then where is Mertz? Where is All? Right? Like it's the pieces coming together in a way in this game that I think is really good, but poses some problems in terms of what do you prioritize going forward. Now, that being said, I think that I would much rather be in that position of having to make hard decisions and seeing what's working and what's not, than asking the question of where our goal is going to come from. And is that question answered for me? Not 100%, but now I'm seeing something that gives me some sense that, okay, this team can find ways to score goals and open things up. And last night was a good example of that.
You mentioned Charles All. I know that ever since the preseason, we all kind of had high hopes from his set pieces and his energy. He also got injured in the preseason. And so now we're starting to see him flourish a little bit. Drew, question for you. So I tend to think in that number 10 role, kind of that attacking midfielder, you could play Charles All there. I also think you could play Robbie Mertz there. I also think you could play Danny Griffin there. Mm-hmm. In your mind, obviously it worked last night with All. Is there any tangible reason why you think that All is significantly better than putting Griffin or Mertz there? Or what is your feeling sort of with those 3? Because you're right, one of them is going to end up being the odd man out in that midfield, at least.
So the way that the team is set up right now, yes, one of them has to be the odd man out. But there's no reason we couldn't take off a defender and have all 3 on the field at the same time and put 3 behind our 2 strikers, right? There's no reason that we couldn't do that, and then allow a little bit of free roam between the 3 of them, as long as 2 are out on the wing and one's as our central midfielder. And that gives players a chance. So the reason I suggest that is what we saw a lot during this game is Danny and All were able to kind of give each other spells of breaks, right? Mm-hmm. And that obviously really helps. Mm-hmm. Like being able to have that spell. So if you add in another player, now you have even more freshness between. You can have more freshness between 3 than 2, right? And not only that, is Danny's good all over the field. We know Robbie and All are really good in attacking positions, especially. Danny's good pretty much anywhere on the field.
Except for wing back.
I was gonna say except for right back, but yeah. That's a conversation for weeks back, but yes.
Right. I mean, he did fine as a right back. I wouldn't say he's the best right back. I don't say he's the ideal right back, but like he did fine in that role. So for that reason, I say you can't really drop Danny.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to drop your captain either.
Yeah.
Right. And that said, Robbie's vice captain, and I think Junior is second vice captain, and we haven't been seeing much of Junior this year. But at the same time, there's no reason why we can't see all three of Danny, All, and Robbie. And there's no reason we shouldn't see all three of Danny, All, and Robbie behind two strikers. Because that really works in the attack. Because the three of them are good at breaking down defenses, pulling defenders, drawing attention. And even when there's just two out of the three on the field, we see that occurring. And it also, again, allows somebody to help out Jackson do some defensive midfield duties.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So to me, it just makes sense to have all three out and sacrifice a defender for it, because then you have your defensive coverage.
Which one of those defenders can you justify taking off the field?
Not Suber. I say Suber has to stay for same reason as, like he's just Suber is essentially the leader of the defense, I think, in my opinion. So I would say it's one of the other two. And I'm a split decision between the other two because they're even in my mind.
If you were to do this, I think that I would say you probably take Vactor out, because Beto is a utility player in the same way that I think Griffin is, that you could play him as a center back, or he could step up into the midfield and be a holding mid along with Jackson. But you also you could end up playing a very different look where you're almost dropping Jackson back as a center back, which he's done at times, but then he could also step forward just if we need more support in the midfield and like everything kind of coalesces around him. I don't know. Steve, your thoughts on the whole just like Danny, Robbie, Charles All situation?
I don't have a good answer for it because I think Drew just covered that really well, that it's like you've got to make space somewhere. Yeah. I agree that Vactor is maybe the easiest to take off of the defenders, but not by much. I think he's a much better defensive defender, whereas Beto is a much better progressive defender in my mind, and Suber is the rock back there, right? But it's like, are you going to take Barnes or Biasi out of the lineup? I don't think so. So, I mean, maybe the actual solution is to just bench Eric Dick and not play with the goalkeeper, right? Like, where else are we going to go? Because we don't get shot on anyway with those guys on defense. So,
well, I will say though, the only reason the Hounds were able to salvage a draw on Tuesday was Eric Dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm being facetious, right?
No, I know. But I'm saying if we're gonna pull,
I don't have a solution.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like I want to see All on the field. I want to see Jacqueline on the field. I want to see Augie Williams on the field. I mean, Danny in my mind is an untouchable player. Jackson is an untouchable player, and that then puts me in a position of I have to choose either between All or Mertz, and they play differently enough for me that I think they're both valuable. And so I think that the coaching staff has some really big decisions to make about how they move forward with this, because you're either putting a top quality player on the bench or you're changing your formation quite a bit to get all those midfielders on the field at the same time.
I mean, two real quick things on this and then we can move on. But over the past few months, we've kind of said that Robbie was basically carrying this team offensively ever since the birth of his son. Like, he's been on fire. So to think that all of a sudden there's not a spot for him in the starting 11 is kind of crazy. But that said, we've always said that when you get to the 70th, 80th minute and Bob is ready to make subs and we're like, we have no depth, the prospect of bringing somebody like a Robbie Mertz into the game at that point of the game, depending upon what's happening, is actually really valuable, because if you need to press forward, you have Robbie with fresh legs who can press forward. And if you need to play defensively, he also can fill that role too. So he's kind of that utility player in the same way. So is it fair that, Robbie may not be a starter, but he's a exceptional finisher? Maybe. This just might be kind of the next step in the evolution of what we're seeing here, whether, we're happy with it or not, or I don't know. I don't know how we feel about it. So,
what it does is it puts the team in a position that I've been calling for a long time of the players on the bench need to be pushing these guys that we've assumed are starters 4 minutes. And so I don't know how to make that decision. I don't get paid to make that decision. That decision needs to get made, to me, is progress in terms of the quality of the roster. And so I'm I love that. Yeah.
Let me ask real quick, and then I keep saying we'll move on. This weekend, Orange County comes to town. Are you starting Charles R, or are you starting Robbie Mertz, Drew?
I actually am going to start Robbie. So I would start Robbie because he ended the last game.
Okay.
And then you put all on as your, Bob likes his 70, 80-minute sub, so I'd put him on then.
Steve?
I don't know. Every time I think I figure out what's going to happen, Bob makes a really different decision. So I've just stopped guessing and trying to predict, or even try to make my own assumptions. I don't know.
I think if I'm making a call, I'm not going to make it based on this game. I'm going to make it based on the fact that the past 2 games that Orange County have played, they've scored 4 goals in each of them. They've only given up 1. And so Bob might get a little trigger shy and want to play a little bit more defensively, in which case I think you're playing Robbie instead of Charles.
Which then means you're allowing Griffin to drop further back because you're trusting the experience and this is not a knock on Robbie, but Robbie isn't the out and out attacking midfielder that we're seeing in all.
Right.
So he adds a little bit more stability through that central part of the midfield when he's drifting in, or if he's playing more centrally, which gives Danny the ability to play a more defensive role.
Yeah, I'm going to be the disruptor here and say I'm going to predict that Bob is going to have all and Robbie in the lineup.
Oh, geez.
And it's going to be either Jacqueline or Augie who makes way.
I hate that I think you might be right.
And I have my personal opinions on which one I think he's going to drop, and I'm not going to air them. But I think it's one of those two who's going to make way for All and Robbie to be on the field at the same time. And for exactly that reason, having both on the field allows him to have 9 players sitting back in the box and his one player roaming the rest of the field to get ganged up on.
And so Augie's going to be on an island by himself again, is what you're saying.
Yep. Exile Island.
Probably.
I think you're right. Can we talk about those goals, though?
I was just going to say, before we move on, let's talk about the goals. Go for it, Steve.
Those are the types of goals that I absolutely love to see for a team that has been struggling to score goals. Not necessarily because they were the best team goals or whatnot. They were really great goals. Biasi had a great pass on Augie's goal. Didn't get the assist because the defender got a touch on it. And then Beto got the assist on Jacqueson's goal. Great way to find those players. But what stood out to me is you could see both of those forwards were doing what we've wanted to see from them all season long. And that is taking the quick, confident shot that, I loved Augie's goal because he tries to control the ball. The defender makes a little bit of a play on it. He touches it out, takes 2 steps, doesn't touch it again other than the shot. And that quick shooting, I think, is why he scored the goal. I think if he takes another shot, he's in his head again, like we've seen so many times before this season. But he acted with his best skill set, and that was rifling the ball at the bottom near post, and it was beautiful. Loved it. Jacqueson, I don't know what he was thinking from taking a shot from that, but he saw the angle, I think, and was like, I really thought he was about to cross it, and No, I mean, he sees that near post and again, just rifles it in one touch. And so those are beautiful, beautiful goals that you love to see. I want to see more of that, along with some of the other goals we've seen that are hard work, scrambling in the box, build up play. But we need goals like that to add to the other types of goals we've seen this season to make it a salvageable season at this point. A salvageable season, a team that's tied for fourth, right?
We'll get into that. That's a whole conversation. Yes, but no, I think both of their goals reminded me of goals that Chico used to score. There were times in this game where you could tell the game plan was to be as direct as possible. You mentioned both of the assists came from defenders. I know Biasi was pushed up the field a little bit more, but there's a lot more over the top. You see Jacqueline running into space after ball. You see Augie trying to run into space after ball. More often than not, he's knocking it down backwards and then trying to run into space. But it didn't feel like there was as much build up play. And, my favorite stat that you always like to bring up, we had 48% possession. Like and we were up a man for more than 30 minutes. So
the being up a man didn't even factor into these goals.
I know that we were already up 2-0 by the time we were up a man, but I'm just saying in terms of possession, you would think we might have more, but yeah.
I don't think they are Chico goals.
Okay.
I think they are Nico Brett style goals.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like that fast, quick shot that was what I loved about Brett. That Chico, there were times he would get those one-touch goals, but more often than not, it wasn't in traffic. It was muscling through players and using his strength. Whereas these were just sublime finishes that remind me of Brett. And even a little bit, though he didn't do it as much, Cheetah.
But regardless, we're talking like yesteryear Hounds.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking early Bob Lilly years.
Agreed.
Right. And so it's like, for me, this game brings back some nostalgia, seeing goals like that. Like those are, and I think it is, right? Like I love a good team goal. Robbie, Danny have scored some really fun goals this year. Ones that I love to see.
There was a set piece that almost played out like that in this game that Danny just put over the bar where whether it was drawn up that way or what, I think Robbie took the set piece and played it to, was it Luke? Or no, that would have been the right side, or was it Barnes? One of them. They basically went back and forth with the ball 2 or 3 times, and Rhode Island's defense just followed. They just chased the ball back and forth, and then Robbie chipped it far post, and it came back across the front of the net, and we had 2 or 3 guys, and I think Griffin got his foot on it, and it just went over the bar. But team plays like that are totally fun. But yes, this feels like a bygone era.
Yeah,
so.
These are the types of goals that you see on the highlight reels, that you see on goal of the week nominations, because
Marketing,
they're just right.
Yeah.
Like they're just goals that are pure individual brilliance.
It's fun. Yeah.
And I just want to throw out there, we don't see the space made for them to take these shots, because that's why they're taking these shots. We don't see the space made for them to take these shots if there's not another player pushing up front, drawing defenders, making the space.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to sort of see how this continues to progress. Maybe we shall see.
So I do want to say, you said, Drew, the red card didn't factor into these goals, but I think it definitively factored into the game, because I felt that Rhode Island was really starting to put themselves in a position where they looked like they could battle back. And after that card, they kind of had to take a little bit of a step back, and the Hounds put on a lot more pressure and had the space to put on more pressure. And so while it wasn't instrumental in the goals, I think it was instrumental in the 2-0 win.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll just throw it out there.
It was.
I was going to say, I'll throw it out there. No question, it was a straight red, right?
You're going to throw it out there like JJ threw out his elbow?
Exactly. So JJ Williams picks up the ball. I don't know why Beto has his arms around him. Like, he really didn't need to.
His arms up. He didn't have his arms around him.
Well, he did first.
And then he put his arms around him, and JJ Williams got his elbow up literally in Beto's face, enough to give him a bloody nose and he had to change his jersey. So good on Beto for baiting the elbow and taking the punch for the team. But that's got to be a straight red, right? I mean, Drew, you were in the stands. Was it that clear while you were there?
So we couldn't see what happened because of just the sheer volume of people who were congregating.
Yeah.
When that happened. So there was already a lot of people congregating before the elbow was even thrown.
Yeah.
Then the elbow gets thrown, and then there's even more congregating to the point where the their goalkeeper comes running across the field to get involved.
Yeah.
And I think this ref, whatever we may say about him, used extreme restraint not to put up more cards. He was.
I mean, I don't know. I think that there weren't any other elements of that other than just players congregating. Like, it's not like other players were pushing or shoving, or
there was some pushing and there was.
I mean, but not like not in a like aggressive. It was more like
no. I
just
think
trying
it
to
was
make
in a
space.
way where it was in such a way where the ref is going to be. You guys did not need to be here. You guys came like this goalkeeper who came across. That goalkeeper deserved a yellow. If I was on the field, I would have given him a yellow, because why are you on the opposite side of the field?
I mean, listen,
getting involved in this mix-up.
He gave out enough other yellows, for
right.
Other
he might as well have
things,
given that one out. Right. That's why I'm saying he deployed restraint. He didn't have any other time in this game to not give another yellow, because quite honestly, there was no reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason to get involved in that.
Yeah. You also had, Bob the bouncer was in there kind of pushing people away too. And at one point he was doing the Carl Krauser. I was like, what is this? He was doing like an X over his head, like during all of this. And let's do Hey Sir. And then we're going to keep going from here.
And now, Hey Sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
I am here on vacation and just finished the Riverhounds game. And it's one of those despite of, not because of, and it's despite the ref, despite Lily, they still seem to win. They put 2 goals in the run of play into the net, which is fantastic, but goodness, that ref is terrible. And then I thought Lily was going to start fighting, get into a fist fight with the players, so that was great, but goodness, I'm so done. I'm so over Lily. I just I'm done. Props to the boys for doing the work on the field, but good grief, this organization deserves better. These fans, this city deserves better. So let's go Hounds.
This has been Hey Sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
I mean, props to Laura Ellen, because she actually called in on vacation. I just said, screw it, you guys do the show yourself. So big thanks for that.
Yeah, you did.
I know, I'm the worst. No, she starts to touch on a very valid point, and I know that the past few months, there's been a lot of this discussion about Lily out. I don't think that really any of our sentiment has changed, but at the same time, you have to look at a result like this, whether it's credit to him or not. I think the message that I put in Slack to you guys once the game was over was I was really happy for the guys, and I'm slightly disappointed because this probably delays any sort of coaching decision any further. We'll see what the next few games look like, but at this point, Josh's predictions that I don't think anything's going to happen mid-season are probably right. But if I throw the standings up on the board too, my son walked into the room and he was like, look, I know that you're all Lily out and whatever, but we're literally tied for 4th place at this point. We are 1 point out of 3rd. So I think that us as fans, we see that there's more progress that can be made. There could be better things to be done. But at the same time, if we end the season with a home playoff spot, how do you weigh that? Like, Steve, where does that Drew?
Yeah, no. Drew, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna answer your question with a question.
Oh, come on.
How many times have the Hounds won the regular season and progressed not at all in the postseason?
Listen, there.
How many trophies do we have?
Yeah, we have a player shield, which many of the players won't consider as a trophy. So
that's in American sports, the player shield is worth nothing.
I got to give a shout out. I don't have the picture here, but there was a member of the Steel Army who I think I played foot golf with 10 years ago, but he had a shirt that said Lily out on the front, and on the back, I think it said 7 years, 2 playoff wins, 0 championships, 1,000 excuses.
Yep.
And so yes, we could continue winning. I think that it feels good as a fan base. If you were there last night, it was probably a really good time. I think newcomers are coming. They're having a good time. They don't understand sort of what's going on behind the scenes.
It all depends on what game you come to. You come to a game like Tuesday's game, this is stereotypical boring soccer. We're not winning hearts and minds with how we played on Tuesday.
No,
what happened
Tuesday,
on that
Tuesday was a crap game, and everybody left feeling great because there's a last play of the game winner, and that washes all sins away.
But like, but the previous run up to this last game, if you bring somebody who has not the best opinion of soccer and you're trying to win them over and say, look, Pittsburgh has a winning team, right? They look at this game and they say, what crap have you dragged me into? Now, if you bring them to last night's game, totally different story. But point being, why is last night like last night seems more of a unique situation than like if last night was regular, that's one thing.
Yeah.
So what you're reminding me of is I think it was the 2019 season where we started calling it crazy fun times because it was a kind of a wild season, and it ended up being a really successful season, but in any given game, it didn't feel like you knew what was going to happen, but the Hounds were overall playing exciting soccer more often than not. Sometimes that would mean they were losing a game. Sometimes that would mean they were putting a few in. But it was a fun season. We called it crazy fun times, right? That's kind of what last night kind of reminded me of. It was like, it was fun to watch that game. And it still would have been a fun game to watch as a neutral if the Hounds played like they did, but the result went the other way. Yes, you'd be disappointed, but it's not like you're looking at it and be like, like it was just a pedestrian, no effort. That doesn't mean that I think it was the best game they had. It doesn't mean I think they did everything right. But it was a fun game to watch.
I mean, the shithousery on the field, everything about last night's game was fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. So Steve, how do you square that? I said I'm happy for the guys. I'm disappointed that this delays a coaching change.
So as much as I disagree with Josh, I think he is right. Yeah. I don't like that, right? Like I don't want it to be the end of the season, but I think he has got his case made well, and I think he's going to be right at the end of the season. I think for me that I'm going to disagree a little bit in that I think this win is in spite of Bob Lilly, because he did make some tactical changes and he did make some substitutions, I think, that were better than what I've seen in previous games this season, right? So I think he actually did manage this game a little bit better. That's part of, right? Like his management is part of game management is part of why I want to see him gone. But it's not the only reason. It's not the big reason. The big reason is the things that we've addressed that are happening behind the scenes, the relationship with fans, the relationship with players, those are things that are untenable for a coach to be doing. And on top of that, talked about this at length, I think a month ago or so, that I want to see the team take the next step. If we are going to be a USL Premier League team, we need to be building a much stronger soccer development pathway. We need to be moving on from the Bob Lilly my way or no way and build the Pittsburgh Riverhounds soccer philosophy that is embedded from the top level to a developmental team to the academy, and building that pipeline through strategic planning. And we don't get that with Bob Lilly. He can win games. He may, I doubt, but he may even win a championship. But it doesn't build for the long-term success and foundation of the future of building something that is cohesive and consistent, like we saw with the Riveters this year, of bringing in that academy philosophy into the Riveters team.
Yeah, agreed. I don't have anything to sort of disagree with that about. Guys, before we move on, any other takeaways from this game that you wanted to touch on here briefly?
Not this game, but around this game, that if you haven't seen it, Mike, you put out Liz's interview with Ammo.
Yeah.
So you don't really, it's hard to do an interview with Fursuit. So you have to watch it because Ammo communicates really well, just not verbally.
Yeah. So the background there is that in the full 90 from this past week, okay, stepping back even further, we did an episode 2 weeks ago where it was air quotes live from Highmark Stadium, where we went live the second the game was over in studio. I'm throwing a lot of quotes here. Just deal with me. We went live in studio in quotes, and then people called in from their phones and joined from Highmark as soon as the game was over. I think it was Kaz had the camera, and he had Drew, you and Ammo were in the shot, and Ammo was losing their mind. And so after that, Liz did a full 90, and Ammo wanted to be involved, but it was pure audio. So we said, well, you can't, that makes it a little tough when Ammo doesn't talk. And so this time, Liz made time to get a video of Ammo for the full 90. But we posted that over on YouTube. So if you don't follow us on YouTube, go check it out. It's just a short. But Liz also has the traditional full 90 that we also post. Or no, I didn't put that one on YouTube. That's wherever you get your podcast. It should just show up in your feed. But no, that was a lot of fun. And Ammo's a lot of fun. And we'll see if it's something that continues. Yeah. Shout out to Josh and Liz. Apparently, Liz said that they stayed so long that Josh was worried they were legitimately going to get kicked out. So Josh nervously held the camera while Ammo gave his 2 cents. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess last thing to do on this one is to pick our top 3. Drew, I'll let you take the first crack at it. Who are you adding in your top 3 here?
I mean, that's good because I get the easy one with Berton.
Okay, so we're putting. I don't disagree with having Jackson in the top 3. I think we need to figure out where. Steve.
I mean, I think I'm gonna give you the other easy one, Mike, because I'm gonna say that I could make a case for almost anybody on the field. Charles All gets an honorable mention. Sean Suber gets an honorable mention, but for me, it's Beto. I think the defenders were great. I think Beto was a step above what we've seen from him, and that pass for the assist. It wasn't his only offensive contribution. I mean, he just looked sublime to me all night long, and really loved it.
I think Beto is going to be one of those players that are going to be really disappointed if he's not here next season. Sounds like there might be a number of factors, but hopefully he sticks around. I agree. I think you're right in saying I think it could really go to anybody. Dick gets a shutout. Didn't have a ton of work to do, but still gets a shutout, so I could see him being in there. But I'm fine.
I feel like we've nominated Dick at numerous times this season when he's got the shutout, but hasn't actually had much to do. And this is a night where there were 2 shots on target.
Yeah.
Right. Like he did well, but
yeah.
there were only 2 shots on target.
Yeah. I'll take Augie just because, 80th goal as a player in the USL, which is amazing achievement.
I'm really glad you went with Augie, because if you went with someone else, I would have screwed it up.
Yeah. I was like, honestly, these were my 3 picks before the game as well. So I was like, please.
So what's the order? Who goes number 1, Steve?
I think Augie actually goes number 1.
Yeah. I think the especially 80th goal, I think that gets 3 points.
It's not even that. It's that he turned it up a notch. I mean, it is that, but it's also that he turned it up a notch with the goal, and it changed the game. And I don't think Berton finds the space he has if they're not up a goal.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Drew, who's number 2 for you?
I'm gonna actually give it to Beto.
Okay. Steve is just smiling and nodding. So
I wasn't expecting that.
So the reason is one of the strikers absolutely deserves number 1 spot. In my mind, that's Berton. But if we give it to Augie instead, number 2 is Beto. For me, he was the solid number 2. So there's no way I can be convinced that it should go striker, Beto. Beto gets the number 2.
The reasoning makes absolutely
no sense.
Like it does not work in my head, but okay.
No, but like, so
it's got to be one of the strikers at one. If it's not that striker, then the other one doesn't get second.
Because they were all so close together. That said, Beto's work offensively and defensively is worth the number 2 spot. So however we decide to argue which of the strikers get the 1 spot or the 3 spot, that's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we think. Augie, Beto, then Jockeson in third. Let us know what you
Mike
think.
doesn't even comment. Right. He just accepts it.
No, I don't disagree. So I'm fine with that. Let's throw the standings up a little bit, and then we're going to talk about just a few other things. I put this up earlier, guys. We're still in 5th place on 26 points, but North Carolina, who have that last home playoff spot, are also on 26 points. We both have the same goal differential. So the biggest difference at this point is that North Carolina have actually played 1 less game than us. So they technically still points at hand.
Got the head-to-head.
Right, and they have the head-to-head. So if you actually look at the last 5 games, we have 2 wins and 3 draws. They have 2 wins and 3 losses. So if you're looking at a trend, we're kind of trending level or slightly upward, whereas they are trending slightly downward. So we'll see if that remains. Just above them is Loudoun, who were red hot. They're now sitting on 27 points, which is just 1 more point than us. Their last 5 games are 3 losses and 2 draws. So they are also trending downward. Now, do I think we're going to catch Charleston or Louisville, who are both tied at 41? No. So I think that really that 3rd and 4th spot are what's up for grabs. But there is a reality in which this team puts together a run of games, figures out how to score, and ends up with a home playoff spot this season. So I guess only time will tell. The next 2 games, Steve, you guys talked about this a little bit last week. The next 2 games are at home. We have Orange County at home, and we have Charleston Battery at home. So I just mentioned Charleston Battery tied for top of the East. Orange County, they're coming off of back-to-back wins where they got 4 goals in each of those games, and they only gave up 1. Now, do I think that the Hounds are going to give up 4 goals at home? Probably not. If I, asked you right now, what do you think the most number of goals this team would give up at home to a West Coast team, Drew? What do you think?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say 3, just with OC has been putting together, because if I'm not mistaken, OC just added like 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
And so their 2 wins are from a really new look side.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them putting 3 in.
Yeah.
Because they've broken down defenses in, like, they look good. They look scary. They really do.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to see them winning the league at the end of the season with the way they've been playing.
I hear what you're saying, but I mean, those 2 wins also came against Las Vegas, who has 4 losses in a row and a win before that, and then Phoenix, who has 3 losses, a win, and a draw in the past 5 games, right? So I think that, yes, they got big wins in both those games, but also against teams that their form is not as strong, right? Like if they went out and did that to Tulsa or Sacramento in the West, or came to the East and did that to Louisville or Charleston, then I'd be concerned in that sense. But I think for me, it's like, is that beating up on a Loudoun level team at this stage or a Birmingham level team? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
So let me ask you this, Steve. We have 2 teams that are coming to Highmark over the next 2 weeks that are both on some good form, regardless of who it is that they're playing. If I say that we are going to end these next 2 games with 1.5 points, are you taking the over or the under?
I'm taking the under because I'm not going to move the goalposts, because on Thursday, Josh and I talked about it, and 4 points from the 3 games, including last night, was, I think that feels good.
No, well, hold on.
Keep that.
There's a difference between what would you be happy with and what do you think will happen? Do you think that realistically, like, we're going to end up with a draw and a loss out of these 2 or less?
I think it's probable.
Okay.
I mean, we might be we might be Orange County. We might lose to Orange County. We could draw Orange County. I don't think we out and out make Charleston look bad. I could see us stealing a goal and getting a 1-0 win, but I could also see it being a loss. I think that regardless of what happens this coming week, that Charleston is going to be looking for all 3 points at Highmark, because they're either going to want to put more space between the Louisville team that they just beat, or they're going to want to be keeping if they tie, or trying to make up ground if Louisville wins this coming weekend, because they play each other. And as a neutral, that's actually probably a great game to watch.
Yeah, agreed. Drew, 1.5 points. Are you taking the over or the under in terms of what you think will actually happen over these next 2 games?
What I think will actually happen is going to be the under. Because I just took a quick peek at OC again, and they drew 0-0 to a cooling off Loudoun team at the beginning of July. So they seem to travel well enough to give Loudoun trouble, which is not saying much, but you know.
Now, the follow-up question to that, and we don't need to spend a ton of time on this, but I think we, at least in terms of what we saw on the field, Steve, you brought back the term crazy fun times, and I agree with. Assuming we get 1 point over these next 2 games, how quickly are we again hitting the panic button? Or is it just like, this is what this is this season, and we're fine with it because we know this is what this is this season?
To me, it is, what does the play on the field look like?
Okay.
Right? Like if we have Augie taking those one-time shots and there's a spectacular save, right? Like so I think about last night, and there was the one play where the keeper made a fantastic save right in front of the box. I mean, Griffin was 4 yards from the goal mouth and got the ball at his feet, and it was going into the roof of the goal. And the keeper, streaking across, somehow gets a hand to it and tips it over. Like, you know what? If I see that, like, I'm like, well, dang, that sucks, right? But if I'm seeing plays like that consistently throughout the game and we still lose, you know, I don't feel terrible. They're doing the things they need to do that bring success. And it's not going to always work every game. If I see a game like I saw in Miami and we get a draw, but it's because we somehow get a super late goal to salvage the point, but did nothing for the rest of the game, then I'm like, well, maybe Rhode Island was an aberration.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Drew, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, even just analytically, our points per match and our points over the season, we're approaching the 21, 22, 23 seasons rather than being caught in the mire of where we were last year in a points per match and a points over the season regard. My concern, though, is our goals much more closely matches last season than it does any of the previous 3 years. And the concern, like, I wouldn't mind a 2-2 draw if it was a fun 2-2 draw. But when it's a 2-2 draw where we're like scraping and fighting and we just seem to be throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping something sticks, it's going to be a lot tougher to enjoy that 2-2 draw, right? Like, it's I agree with Steve's. It depends on the play on the field, but it also, at the end of the day, what matters is results. And I think something important for the Hounds org and for us as we look at the Hounds org to consider is, are the Hounds a team that is just a playoffs team, or are we a team that is a top 4 home playoff game team? Yeah. Like, what are we aiming at? Because it's certainly not winning the title.
I think where I stand on this is, at this point, regardless of what happens, my feelings about what should happen in terms of Lily aren't going to change, even if we go off and if we win every other game for the rest of the season, which I don't think we're going to do it. So I think at this point, what I'm ultimately rooting for and hoping for is just like good times for the guys. So if it's the case where it's a really bad loss and they feel awful about it, that's not great. If they're able to salvage a draw, but it's a hard fought draw and they can keep morale up, then that's great. But it almost feels like you're kind of rooting for two different entities at this point.
Yeah.
And all of my cards are on the players. And so, if we lose and they can feel okay about it, great. If we lose and it's just going to be more beat down at practice or whatever, then that's not great. And so if we can just ride out the season and everyone can stay relatively positive, then great. That's a win in my book.
Yeah.
I mean,
there have been 2 games, I think, this season that have been a lot of fun. This game and the win against Detroit, the 2-0 win. Both 2-0 wins, 2 different goal scorers, coming about in really different ways. I mean, that was the game where both Robbie and Danny scored, right? And fun games to watch because there was a lot going on. And so if that's what I'm seeing, right? Like, yeah, that's why it was crazy fun times a few years ago, because we weren't always sure we were going to get the win, but we knew that it could be wild. We knew that anything could happen. And part of it is, I think this season, that we don't know what can happen other than that the Hounds might eke out a draw or 1-0 win, right? Like that we're not going to give much up, but we're also not going to do much going the other way.
Yeah, agreed.
And I mean, the other side of that is I understand that the Hounds play better with a little bit less possession, but it seems to be they play better with just a little bit less possession. Once we start tipping that scale too much.
I want to see the stats on that, Drew. You rattling off the stats in the chart. I want to see it. I want show me the numbers, man.
I'm just saying, like, from a feeling perspective too, right?
Oh,
like
I get it.
if all you're watching all game is another team just constantly beat your team down and beat them into a corner, and then you get the one breakaway goal, sure, that goal is going to feel great, but you're going to feel miserable the rest of the game where you're just like, we built a wall in front of goal and his name is Eric Dick and the defense and
and it still works against NYCFC.
That's right.
Right.
That is what we think. Let us know what you think, guys. 2 other things before we get out of here. Well, 3 things before we get out of here. One, I don't think Steve, you or Josh mentioned on the last show, Abby Hugh. So the Riveters, Abby Hugh, she was not only named the Great Forest Division Player of the Year, she was also now named to the All W League second team for the year. She was the only Riveter to be named. So congratulations to Abby. She also signed a professional deal to go play over in Europe as well. So really,
I want to take issue with the league here that I feel like they're picking Abby, rightfully so, because they feel like they need to spread it around, and they made the wrong decisions because she should not be the only Riveters player on here. So and that's not to take away from her, but it's to say there were a lot of really good players, and they're just playing the politics of not the best players, but picking players from elsewhere too, and that's a shame.
I agree, but if you it is the politics. If you look at the first and second team, I think the only team that had 2 players were Minnesota, and they tore things up. So I get it. But with as many teams as there are in this league, I think they were trying to find representation from everywhere that they could.
Participation trophies for those teams that
they
aren't as
do
good.
have 40 plus teams.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
crazy. Guys, I want to close with a new segment. I did not make like a video, audio drop yet. Maybe we will. We'll see how it works. But I was inspired because Steve, last week, Thursday, you and Josh were talking, and Josh brought up the whole Mike Watts drinking hot sauce thing. And I was like, that's kind of fun. And in a season where, it feels like a lot of our episodes, not that they became repetitive, but a lot of it was just like, Lily, I get it. That's what's going on. That's what we have to talk about. I was like, it's fun to talk about something that is not necessarily Hounds related and could be fun from elsewhere around the league or the world. So I had a question for you guys. News came out this week that Heung-min Son is leaving Tottenham and likely headed to LAFC, which like of all places, LAFC, I hope he's getting a massive payday, but he could literally go anywhere and play. Tottenham literally just won the Europa Cup. So like he's going down as a legend in a way that
He knows he's never going to get another cup.
He's never going to
get
exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm out. But here's my question for you: if you were able to be like Son and basically you're on a Premier League team, you finally won a trophy, you now have your choice to go play any other team outside of the Premier League. Where do you think you would go play, Steve? What would be maybe like your top 1 or 2 choices?
Oh, I mean, I would go. I think like you got to pick like one of the Norwegian teams or Swedish teams or Dutch teams, right? Like one of those smaller leagues, but that just as a experienced player, you get to work with some really young guys. You get to make a difference. And then you get to like build those relationships with those guys and see them have a lot of success moving forward. And those leagues are fun and the support is great.
Yeah. Drew, how about you?
So yes, but also I'm also slightly biased as well. Because as much, yes, I would love to go play on a lower league side. If I'm looking at the end of my career, there's no reason I shouldn't come to the Great Retirement League and of the MLS. And
where are you going? What if you could pick
the
your
Rapids?
City? You're going.
Oh, I would go back home. I would go home. That's where I would go.
I appreciate your congruency with who you are. I really do.
Yes.
Well, you're saying if I am the star, like a Prem star,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at the twilight years of my career, I'm pulling a Didier. I'm coming to the MLS, and I'm going to go to the Rapids.
You're pulling a Dempsey.
Yes.
No, Dempsey.
Different city, but like
Yeah, pretty much it was the same. Yeah. No, but I would come back to I mean, I have played through this exact situation in FIFA and some of the old career modes. I actually started at Rapids, took my transfer to go play soccer and become an incredible star at Chelsea, and then come back to the Rapids and put a nice bow tie on the career.
Wait, what position did you play? I'm just curious.
Oh, attacking mid. Same position I played as a player.
Cool. Okay. Steve, I like the Norwegian shout. Like I think Ajax or something like that could be like really like a really historical club. Celtic could be really cool. Like go play in northern UK.
Yeah, I think what like for me what it does is it's like it's not the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
But it's still like there's so many opportunities to interact with so many other players, but also like to still participate in some of the European competitions potentially.
Yeah. My only issue with coming to MLS, and I wouldn't is the travel. Like that would just be if I could go somewhere like Italy or France, like some of these storied countries that have a lot of passion for their games. You could be living in Italy or France for like a few years in like the twilight of your career, eating good food. Like that would be amazing.
Oh, I mean, a dream as a player would be putting on the black and red of AC Milan and hearing the San Siro sing Sarà perché ti amo. Like that's, but now we're talking atmospheres, right? Like just for that, like,
yeah.
Like,
that's what's beautiful about this question. Like you want to prioritize.
Like even the Champions League final, like it was just bone chilling when I was watching the David Beckham and Friends, and they opened the box door, right? So the box is like sounding, so they open the door, and just the champion, everybody singing the Champions League song.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was just But like even playing for like some of the second division or third division sides in England or Glasgow Rangers or like it'd be amazing to play for the Dons and bring Wimbledon up or bring Derby up or one of those other like
there's so many ways you can answer this question, which is like I think that's what I really
there's so many fun ways too. Like there's so many
like
fun
we could
things.
spend the next hour talking about what are the ways we could do that.
You could go play for Wrexham and be best friends with Deadpool. I don't know if I would do that.
So
but
Mike, so this was your question.
Yeah.
I had a moment
Yes.
that was somewhat Hounds adjacent, but not Hounds related, because it's one of those crazy soccer moments. And so in the South Georgia Tormenta match this weekend, they were down in the 91st minute, 2-1. So corner kick or set piece, I don't remember which now, send their goalkeeper up. And former Riverhounds goalkeeper Austin Pack scores the goal for South Georgia Tormenta. So if you have not seen this highlight, I recommend it. It's a fun time. I mean, Austin was a really nice guy. I think he didn't get his chance with the Hounds, but just like kind of see a former player from the Hounds do something like that, and such a rare thing that you don't get to see so much. So that's kind of like my highlight of the week, I think, like outside of the Hounds. So I loved it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're Steve, send me the clip, or I'm gonna go find it. We will share it out on Blue Sky and probably over on YouTube as well. Those are kind of the places that we're mostly at the moment. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts or any questions that you would like us to answer like this moving forward, let us know. Email us at mongols3@gmail.com. We'll start like a mailbag list of questions, and we'll try to pick off one or two of them at the end of each episode. We'll give you a shout out if you include your name. But stuff like this is kind of fun to think about and talk about. And if you have thoughts, let us know. If you could pick one team in your Twilight that's not the Premier League, where would you go and why? And maybe we'll read some of those responses on the next show too. So, guys, anything else for this one? Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
The weather. Let's hope the weather holds.
Yeah, agreed. This cooler weather is very, very nice. I have a feeling it won't last, but fingers crossed. Here's hoping. Thank you, gentlemen. I always enjoy the conversation. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. We do appreciate it. Make sure that you follow and subscribe wherever it is that you're getting this. We're basically on every podcast platform as well as over on YouTube. I mentioned we're also on Blue Sky. Just go look for us. But we do appreciate all the thoughts, questions, comments, feedback. Mongols3@gmail.com. Send them our way. We will include them in the show. Otherwise, thanks, everybody. We'll be back with more Hounds content for you very, very soon.
Later.